The reality in terms of the impact was very serious, was it not?
Oh, yes.
The government body responsible for synthesising the response of government in the face of this unprecedented crisis was largely, as it must have seemed to you, not fit for purpose in February, March, April, May of 2020.
Yes, and I want to take this opportunity, if I may, my lady, to apologise to the victims who endured so much pain, the families who endured so much loss as a result of the mistakes that were made by government in response to the pandemic. And as a minister responsible for the Cabinet Office and who was also close to many of the decisions that were made, I must take my share of responsibility for that. Politicians are human beings, we're fallible, we make mistakes and we make errors, and I'm sure that the inquiry will have an opportunity to look in detail at many of the errors I and others made. But I also want to stress that I and those with whom I worked were also seeking at every point, in circumstances where every decision was difficult and every course was bad, to make those decisions that we felt we could in order to try to deal with an unprecedented virus and a remarkable assault on the institutions of the country. The other thing that I would say is that I also, and I know not everyone testifying towards this inquiry has, I also have a high opinion of Matt Hancock as a minister. However, I believe that too much was asked of DHSC at that point, and it goes to the heart of one of the challenges that I mentioned earlier. We should collectively have recognised that this was a whole system crisis at an earlier point and taken on to other parts of government the responsibility for delivery that was being asked of DHSC at that time. I think with the benefit of hindsight, those within DHSC felt we can do it. We can meet this hour. And I think that while that degree of commitment and leaning in is admirable in spirit, the truth is that at an earlier stage we should have broadened responsibility. I think it is the case that almost every number 10 operation has had by its nature strong personalities. Sometimes those personalities clash, sometimes under tension. Humans express themselves in ways which, with the benefit of hindsight, they regret. It is certainly the case that under Boris Johnson, there were strong personalities in number 10, but those strong personalities had been responsible for helping to secure not just an election victory, but an end to the logjam in Parliament over Brexit. And many of those strong personalities needed to be assertive in order to deal with some of the other challenges that we faced.
But you accept, do you not, that this was an issue going beyond personality clash? The behaviour, the style, the personalities of the people in number 10 had a direct impact on its functionality, on its ability to perform in the face of this unprecedented crisis. You would accept that proposition?
Well, I think that you're never going to get a perfect team of personalities, all of whom are beautifully aligned and amongst whom there is perfect harmony. You will always have, it's in the nature of politics, strong views, sometimes punctually expressed. The key thing, I think, is overall, does the system accommodate a diversity of opinion? And then, once a resolution is reached, does it implement that policy quickly and effectively? And I think that you know, the nature of politics, the nature of decision-making in any organisation under pressure means that people do sometimes need to be, you know, a little bit direct.
There were very serious concerns revolving around the nature of the Cabinet Office.
On the question of personnel, I would gently push back. I think that the Cabinet Office had some of the finest civil servants in Whitehall working within it. And overall, I was and continue to be impressed by many of those who work there. And it was certainly the case that one of the additional responsibilities that the Cabinet Office had, as we mentioned earlier, from July, was preparing for the UK's departure from the European Union. During that time, some of the civil servants, both who were there and who joined, were among some of the finest public servants that this country has. I would not blame them. I think the dysfunction in the Cabinet Office was a consequence of two things. Responsibilities being added in a piecemeal and cumulative way without strategic thought being given to how the Cabinet Office would discharge all of those, and a related failure to think strategically about how the centre of government should be reconfigured.